The Lexus RX is not just the best-selling Lexus, but the best-selling luxury vehicle, period. It already leads the nearest competitor by over 30,000 units. And that lead only looks to expand even further as Lexus has literally expanded the RX lineup for 2018. This is the new RX 350L, which now gives customers the third row option they've been asking for years. Like always, this review will encompass the entire range of RX 350Ls, including popular options such as the navigation, premium, and luxury packages. So let's go ahead and see if expanding the RX will expand the Lexus crossover dominance.
Hold on, girl, now wait just a minute. I've got something to say, you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings, but you have to admit I already do. Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around till the disco ball pops, but I have to be me.
We would like to specially thank Lexus of Lexington for inviting us out to film this review. If you would like to check out their stunning dealership and extensive inventory of all the Lexus models, their physical address and website can be found in the video description. Like every Lexus, you do have smart entry and this classy metal accented key fob. The mirrors do automatically fold. The interior is mostly unchanged for L duty, but before we get into that, let's pop the hood. So the slightly larger RX will still find the same 3.5-liter V6 engine under its hood. This buttery smooth power plant produces 295 horsepower and 263 pound-feet of torque. Power is put to the ground via standard front-wheel drive or optional all-wheel drive, and the only transmission continues to be an 8-speed automatic. Now it is worth mentioning that the RX-L can still get the hybrid powertrain, but we're just going to cover that in a separate video. As far as fuel economy is concerned, the extra inches do impact MPG slightly. The L is rated at 19 city, 26 highway, 22 combined with front-wheel drive, and 18 city, 25 highway, 21 combined with all-wheel drive. That's down 1 MPG from the regular RX, but still even with the Acura MDX. Well, that's a basic summary of the mechanical bits, so now let's start checking out the exterior. So changing the size of the RX really didn't impact the design for the most part. That means you still have the same large spindle grille with a thick chrome surround. But the important thing to remember is that you cannot get the F-Sport package on the L, so no black mesh grille. For the headlights, we have the standard option, which are still fully LED. But there are premium triple beam LED lights for those of you who want a little more pizzazz. LED fog lamps are also standard. When it comes to the wheels, you have the same choices as last year. These are the 20-inch split 5-spoke alloy wheels, available as a standalone option for $1,100. The standard wheel is an 18-inch alloy, and models with the luxury package come with the unique 20-inch chrome and black alloy. All models have 12.9-inch ventilated disc brakes in the front and 13.1-inch ventilated disc brakes in the rear. And the tires are all seasons. Coming up to the mirrors, they have a unique 3-part design. They will always be heated and auto-dimming. And we have the optional blind spot monitor. This lights up when a vehicle is in your blind spot. So while you can't tell any difference up front, going to the side is a different story. I don't mean the styling itself is different, but you can definitely tell things have been stretched a little beyond their most flattering length. The actual measure is 4.4 inches longer than the RX, bringing the total to 196.9 inches long. And in case you're wondering, that's within a couple tenths of the MDX and QX60. As far as safety is concerned, all RX 350s come standard with a full suite of active safety gear, including dynamic radar cruise control, intelligent high beam headlights, lane departure alert with steering assist, and a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection. Partially because of those systems, it is an Insurance Institute Top Safety Pick 2018. The RX-L has the same 19.2 gallon fuel tank, so in this case it gets 422 miles of range from the front wheel drive version, and 403 miles from the all-wheel drive version. And as a nice bonus, it uses regular unleaded fuel. Moving on back here, there are a couple of small changes, but nothing you would notice without it being pointed out. The taillight unit is mostly LED, and fully LED with the triple beam headlights. On the L's, the exhaust pipes are hidden, but unaffected is the tow capacity of 3,500 pounds. That is lower than what you get with the MDX or QX60. The only other change is that the wiper has been moved down here instead of under the spoiler. And finally, you do have chrome roof rails across the board. Well, that covers the exterior differences, so now let's see what the L adds to the interior. Looking inside the RX-L, it continues to have a very rich appearance, with real leather and wood standard across the board. We have the parchment leather and matte bamboo combo, but gray with walnut, black with walnut, and brown with dark mocha are also available. Additionally, choosing the luxury package upgrades the leather to semi-aniline, available in the same 4 colors, but with gray sapele wood trim. Naturally, the door trim carries the same level of luxuriousness, with extensive use of leather all over the middle portion and armrest. Of course, all 4 of your windows are one-touch automatic. On the L, you'll also find 3-person memory seating as standard equipment. As far as the seats are concerned, they are the standard 10-way power adjusting ones, with the luxury package gaining 4-way lumbar and power thigh extension. Like I said, the seats themselves are real leather, and feature perforation, stitching, and contrast design. The outside of the RX may be brash, but the inside is nothing but soothing. You have a beautiful selection of materials, starting with the stitched soft touch plastic across all the upper areas. There is also some black leather trim in the middle here. The best part, though, is this real bamboo, with a unique curved design. Finally, you have leather on the side where your knees might touch. To start the RX, press the standard button. When you do, an HD display will fire up, 12.3 inches on our model, 8 inches normally. The gauges have a pleasant design, if a bit conservative. You do get this 4.2-inch multifunction display to control everything from navigation to audio to your safety systems. Every RX has electric rack and pinion power steering, and we have the optional heated wood steering wheel. You have all the regular buttons you would expect on this side, and on the other side buttons for the gauge display and safety systems. And here is the standard adaptive cruise control stock. Rain sensing wipers are also standard across the board. Another surprising standard feature is the power tilt and telescoping steering wheel, ours with the optional heating. Moving on to the important aspect of storage, the RX-L delivers a very competitive amount. Under the leather-wrapped armrest, you have a really deep lined pit, and it also contains 3 different types of connections. This place here also opens, good for hiding a phone. Finally, up here in the front, you also have another empty space and a 12-volt power outlet. This aluminum and leather shifter controls the 8-speed automatic. Bumping to the left does allow for manual shifting. Once you go into reverse, the majority of models will have the standard backup camera. There is trajectory and parking sensors included with blind spot monitoring, but the luxury models will also get a 360-degree camera. Up in front of the shifter, you have a brake hold feature and an electronic parking brake. And then back here you have your 3 drive modes and center locking differential. Moving on from that stuff, all models will have 3-stage automatic heated seats, but the 3-stage ventilation is optional. For the actual climate control itself, it becomes tri-zone automatic on the L. All of the functionality is neatly laid out across these physical buttons, so it's super easy to use. You can also control the rear climate up here if you want to. Now let's go ahead and hear the middle tier 12-speaker audio system. Sound quality is excellent. So that brings us to the Lexus Enform system, which we'll take a quick look at. Like I already mentioned, we have the optional 12.3-inch display, since this model has a navigation package. This is not the newest version of Enform, but the functionality is the same. Let's start in media. And here you can control the standard Bluetooth, which I'm paired to now. Hitting sources shows you all the other options you have available. Moving on to phone, all of your contacts are automatically synced over from your connected smartphone. You can filter through them by letter group. I also want to mention the secondary screen that the large screen also allows for. It can have the map, audio, climate, etc. next to whatever you want on the main screen. Checking out the navigation, it's just the typical map, without any fancy graphics or anything like that. If you don't buy navigation, you can still use the connected Scout nav, which runs through your phone. However, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay continue to not be supported. So all in all, the Enform system has most of what you'd look for, but it's held back by the difficult remote touch controller and lack of Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. That's all I'm going to cover here, but if you would like to see a deep dive into all of the features, then check out our dedicated Enform Tech Help video. A link is in the description. Up top there's a nice frameless auto-dimming rearview mirror with HomeLink universal remotes. You also have a moonroof with the premium package. If you want something a bit fancier, you have the additional option of a panoramic one. So, 3 years on, and the cabin of the RX still impresses me. Materials not only look nice, but touching things confirms that Lexus thought even about the smallest of details. Simply put, it has an aura of elegance that most in the class don't. The steering wheel and seat scoot back for easier exit. Now let's go ahead and check out the all-important third row. The back door trim of the RX-L is longer than the regular RX, but it's still made of the same high-quality materials. Your window back here is fully automatic up and down. To make room for that third row, second row space has been cut significantly over the regular model. Its technical rating is 30.9 inches of legroom and 38.5 inches of headroom. Overall though, I don't think you'll notice too much of a difference. And the seats themselves are among the most comfortable I've ever sat in. Down in the center, you won't find much in the way of controls. The RX does like its own climate zone back here, but they do give you some silver outline vents. The fold-down armrest is good sized. And inside is a nice storage area, plus 2 charging USBs. That's a new feature for the RX-L. And in front of that, we've also got 2 pop-out cup holders. Up top, you'll find 2 bright LEDs, a super soft headliner, and an assist grip. Now like I said, the L version does sacrifice a little space in the second row, but that definitely doesn't mean that there still isn't plenty to spare. I have tons of room behind my own seating position. And as we slide over, even with the seat scooted all the way back, I have a good amount of space. So overall, the RX-L's rear seat is one of the most comfortable in the business. The seats, space, and comfort are all supreme, but I do find myself wishing there were a few more features back here. Now let's go ahead and explore the real reason you buy an RX-L, the third row. Folding the seat isn't as easy as in the MDX, since you have to pull this lever and then push forward. That does give you pretty good access to the 23.5 inches of legroom and 34.8 inches of headroom found back here. Honestly, sitting back here is almost torturous, but it wouldn't be too bad for occasionally hauling around the kids. As you can see, there is absolutely zero legroom behind these seats, but Lexus does give you a couple cup holders, and surprisingly, your own climate controls. So I have to ask, Lexus, why didn't you add these to the second row as well? Summed up, the third row in the RX-L is nice to have for emergencies, but definitely don't expect to be hauling around 7 people comfortably. The tailgate is power across the board, and you can option on a hands-free one for $200. Once that opens, you'll find around 8 cubic feet of space behind the third row, moving to 23 cubic feet behind the second row, and a maximum of 58 cubic feet. That is significantly less than most of the competition. The RX 350L does also come with a power folding third row. That's definitely a nice feature to have. The passenger seat is very adjustable at 10-way power with 4-way power lumbar. Materials in front of the passenger are quite luxurious, with stitch padded plastic and aluminum trim. The glove box is dampened, felt lined, and illuminated. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching one of the first in-depth reviews on the new 2018 Lexus RX 350L. Stay tuned for a quick overview of the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.